Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of the post-race podcast after the race around the Texas Motor Speedway. I am back with James, which I think is to my right, or I think it's that side in the podcast screen, which is new for this episode. I tried a different format last week, but today, not last week, a few weeks ago. But today we're using our cameras because I thought it'd be more entertaining. Welcome to the podcast, James.
Hello everyone, welcome back to episode number 2. We had a super race in St. Petersburg a few weeks ago. It feels like an age ago now, but we've had a fantastic first oval race of the season in Texas.
Yeah, without wasting any more time, we'll go straight to the start of the race if you would like to cover that, James.
Yeah, so lining up 2x2x2 on an oval. A start is always difficult to judge in INDYCAR on road courses, let alone on ovals where speeds are that much higher. And a couple of people paid the price. Alexander Rossi was penalised for jumping the start. It looked like almost his start was too good to be true on the outside there. But someone who did nail the start, Marcus Ericsson, up from 14th to 8th. Bad qualifying for him. But yeah, I mean, pretty much that's how you do it on an oval from Ericsson and how you not do it from Rossi. And then at the end of lap 1, McLaughlin took the lead off Rosenqvist and pretty much never looked back in the race.
It really did not take you long to start talking about Ericsson, did it, James? I was hoping that you'd leave it for a bit, but no, you really did not want to, did you?
The start was that good, though. If he'd gone backwards, I wouldn't have mentioned it. No, we only talk about positives here because it was such a good race from him. I had to. Fair
enough. Moving along a few laps, we have Takuma Sato's little touch of the wall after contact with Devlin DiFrancesco, the first of 3, might I add. We'll get to that a bit later. And obviously that brought out the first caution of the race and kind of began a bit of a string of cautions. If you'd like to talk about that, James.
Yeah, well, it just kind of seemed like it happened a few times with DiFrancesco. This one with Sato looked to be his fault. He went kind of down the inside and just sort of squeezed Sato out towards the outside wall, up towards the dirty side of the track. I mean, with these wings on an oval going at that speed, once you're on the dirty side of the track, you're pretty much a passenger. As we saw what happened with Jack Harvey, I think, in practice on Friday. And that's why he wasn't able to race today. And Santino Ferrucci, I'll quickly add, did a really, really good job being hoisted into that car so early this morning. But on the actual incident with Sato, he's just gone onto the dirty part of the oval, and when you're on there going at that speed, you're a passenger.
Yeah, no, exactly. But the cautions, we saw some problems for a few of the big names. McLaren, they had quite a few problems, which wasn't good for them. A nightmare of a day for McLaren overall. And obviously, Grosjean and Rossi both had their problems in the pits as well. So not a great day for Andretti. As well, if you consider Devlin DiFrancesco's incidents, and Herta later on in the race had a problem in the pit stop, which wasn't too good for him. So Andretti and McLaren having awful days overall. What would you say about that, James?
Yeah, I think it's disappointing. I mean, they came in with quite a lot of promise. Andretti in general looked to be quite strong. I mean, a disappointing qualifying from Rossi. Couldn't figure out what the problem was. When you're a full mile an hour slower than the pole man, you've had a bit of a shocker. And Rossi was very blunt in his interview when talking about that. And, Grosjean had his engine failure as well. He was really furious about that. And he actually looked quite disorientated when coming out the car. His first super speedway, really different to Gateway where he raced last year. A bit of a horror show from Andretti. And of the big 3 teams, they're the one that really lost out. Team Penske, which I think we'll get onto, fantastic. Chip Ganassi, pretty good. Andretti, pretty terrible. And that was the story of the weekend.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the story of today was between Chip Ganassi and Penske in general. Penske looked rapid out there. They have got their oval setup nailed this year, which is something that we didn't see last year nearly as much. One might have assumed that Penske wasn't very quick around ovals with some of their results last year, but it seems that they've nailed it this season, which is fantastic for them. Obviously, we had Newgarden and McLaughlin fighting each other at the end there. And Power in the mix earlier on in the race. So yeah, great race for Penske. Not so great for Andretti or McLaren.
When you end up first, second and fourth, you've had a pretty good day in the office. So Team Penske look absolutely nailed on. But if we move on then a little bit more on Devlin DiFrancesco, his second incident with Kyle Kirkwood, that one looked a little bit like he spooked Kirkwood. There was no actual contact, but DiFrancesco again just veering slightly off the white line and that again put Kyle Kirkwood onto the dirty stuff, and then he actually had a bit more of an impact with the wall than Sato did, ended up backwards. That was another caution, and then we had our 3 wide pile up on the restart for that, if you want to take us through that, Dylan.
Yeah, no, 2 really, really big hits. Kirkwood's crash was a pretty rough one, I must say. And then the other one, DiFrancesco, I don't know what he was doing trying to go 3 wide into turn 3. And obviously it didn't really go to plan, 3 cars in the outside wall. There's another example of cautions breeding cautions, once the cars kind of all gaggle up, you've got the rookies mixed in with the veterans and that, and it just doesn't go to plan sometimes. Obviously with DiFrancesco caning it up the inside of Rahal, who then hit Castroneves. I don't understand what could go on in DiFrancesco's mind in that situation, but it is what it is, and it gave us some entertaining restarts. So after that we didn't have many more cautions, which was good. So if you want to take us on to the next point, James.
Yeah, I was just going to say the one little thing on that. I think it was nice to see Graham Rahal actually talking to Devlin DiFrancesco. I feel like at his interview, Graham Rahal has had, maybe got a little bit of a reputation of being a little bit brash in interviews, but I thought he was really calm post-race, just saying, he's a rookie. These are the type of things that rookies do, You won't make many friends in IndyCar if you're making a move like that, but if people kind of like sit down and talk it through. I think on the coverage they likened it to a move that Colton Herta made on Scott Dixon at Texas in 2019, and it was almost a carbon copy, a car basically losing it half beyond the inside white line. And if he can learn that, I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, you won't make many friends in IndyCar trying to steam it down the inside of turn 3 when there's 2 cars on your outside. Yeah,
I mean, I was going to say at least Herta didn't have 2 cars on his outside. That's something that does differ between the two. But yeah, not a great race for DiFrancesco overall. Obviously, you never want 3 incidents within one race, especially your first race around a super speedway. So yeah, no, let's keep our fingers crossed that definitely DiFrancesco can do better next time round. Now I'm going to talk about the fact that VK on the restart was not hanging about. He made his way right to the front of the pack with some brilliant overtakes on the Penske boys. But then after that, he kind of disappeared. So do you have anything to say on that, James?
Well, it was an aggressive fuel strategy. They tried their very, very hardest here. I think he was the earliest to pit for the final stint. The last one to pit was Newgarden and then Ericsson, which is why they had the best tyres at the end. Newgarden especially so, as we'll definitely get onto. But VK pitted so early that he fell off towards the end of the race, and they basically said, we can't get to the end. I think he was averaging 196 miles an hour towards the end of the race for a lap time, which is really horrendous around Texas, really, when you think about how they were averaging 206, 207 towards the end of that race, maybe even higher, to maybe up towards 210. So yeah, VK was not hanging around off the start, maybe hoping to try and blitz a gap like Scott McLaughlin did at the start of the race before the cautions came out. He got 13 seconds on the field. But yeah, not to be for Rinus VK. And we nearly had another caution towards the end, which really would have put a cat amongst the pigeons. Christian Lundgaard made contact with the wall. Anything to say?
No. I was watching the onboard from, I think it was from Newgarden's perspective, and I saw Lundgaard out wide, and I thought, okay, God, here we go. We're gonna have a caution with say 15 laps left, and yeah, obviously he smacked the wall, damaged his wing, and managed to limp around the entire lap without bringing out caution. So fair play to Christian Lundgaard in that respect. It would have been great to see a 15-lap sprint to the end, but obviously we did get our very entertaining ending, regardless. So yeah, not great for Lundgaard. He did a great job overall over the course of the race, though, for a rookie. I was really, really impressed with his performance. So props to Lundgaard.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess if we now move on to the closing part of the race, for more and more, it looked like it was a 3-way battle for the win, and then Jimmy Johnson actually had a super battle with Simon Pagenaud to end up. He ended up in 5th, which was a fantastic result. Will Power 4th, and 10 seconds ahead of that was a 3-way scrap for the lead, which was engrossing to say the least. Scott McLaughlin, having led 180 plus laps of this race, up against Joseph Newgarden, the absolute master of finishing races, and Marcus Ericsson with the freshest tyres, who actually, his fuel, he went a little bit aggressive. He got kind of a bit stuck I think it was one of the AJ Foyt cars that Newgarden managed to get past. Ericsson couldn't for a lap and a bit, and that basically set him out. Yeah, it was. And that basically just dropped Ericsson out for third. But what a finish we had. It looked like it was coming. I thought Scotty McLaughlin had gone a little bit early. And yeah, the master of finishing things off. Dylan, what have you got to say about that?
I mean, the minute I saw Newgarden take a slightly wider line through the final corner, I thought there was something coming. I thought, okay, look, these guys are going to be side by side towards the line, because obviously they're approaching traffic at the end, which is very similar to what happened at the end of the race around St. Petersburg. And yeah, no, it was gripping. I was on the edge of my seat, and he barely pipped his teammate to the line. And what I really liked about it is the fact that after the race, McLaughlin and Newgarden had an exchange in the interview, and it was friendly. There was no they were both content with it, I suppose. Obviously, McLaughlin's not going to be overly happy with it, but
he looked distraught in his car. He kind of did the Lewis Hamilton post Abu Dhabi, just sat there for a while. He looked absolutely distraught, but I mean, props to Joseph Newgarden. What an absolutely sensational move. He was like a postman. He delivered the post right at the end there. He led 3 laps of the 248 lap race, and he led the final lap for about all of 200 metres. But they're the ones that count. Scotty McLaughlin can lead 186 laps, but if you're not leading at the checkered flag, then you don't pick up the points. And Joseph Newgarden, massive respect.
Incredible way to finish the race. We always love seeing that. And I think regardless of who you support, it's such an exciting way to finish a race in IndyCar. It was an absolutely fantastic race from beginning to end. Really, really exciting. Loads of action. Yes, McLaughlin led a good chunk of it, but you were never certain that he was going to win, because Newgarden was constantly there. I mean, Power was there. Dixon was there. And I mean, Dixon surprised me a little bit. I thought he would have had more in him, but I think he got a bit unlucky with strategy midway through. I think he got stuck behind a few cars, whereas the other drivers managed to get some cleaner air. So, yeah, unfortunate for Dixon. But yeah, no, what a race it was. If you want to go into our race takeaways, James?
Yeah, so big race takeaways. I mean, we've already brushed a few of these. Penske, Dylan, you talked about, nailed their oval package this year. I mean, first, second and fourth. It was a 3-way fight for the win, but Will Power was never challenged in fourth. Ericsson just putting a Chip Ganassi up there. But Penske nailed their oval package. I mean, Jimmy Johnson can perform. That was a super thing to see. Dylan, what you got to say about that? Because obviously he struggled last year and in this year at the start as well. So nice to see him doing well.
Yeah, no, I was really, really, really impressed with Jimmy Johnson, actually. I was happy to see him up there because it's always been concerning seeing him kind of potter around the back of the grid, on road courses. But no, great to see Jimmy up in P6 because, I mean, he's from NASCAR, he should have started ovals last year. He would have done a lot better, in my opinion. But yeah, no, obviously behind Dixon, ahead of Palou. So yeah, no, he's fit in with Ganassi quite well this weekend. So no, he was pretty impressive. I was quite happy with that result for him. So
yeah, and I mean, I'm just wondering. We've already talked about Devlin DeFrancesco and how Greg Rahal had a little chat with him. Do we think this could be a bit of a problem, over-ambitious rookie, or do you think now, we had those incidents, he'll understand his rookie mistakes, and you think he'll settle down now a bit?
I was going to say, every rookie has their moments, literally, I can't name a single rookie in history who hasn't made a stupid mistake at one point or another. So yeah, it could just be one of those races where he gets all his silly mistakes out of the way, and then he performs better later on. If we do see something like this again, that's when you've got to question, is this going to be a problem? Because you don't want to see that twice. He's probably learnt his lesson now, and I expect we'll see him be a bit cleaner in the future. So, yeah, they're my thoughts on Devlin DeFrancesco.
Well, it was Malukas last time out, and he actually had a decent race, did David Malukas, but DeFrancesco this time. And now, Scott McLaughlin, a serious contender. We talked about contender or pretender last time out. It looks like it's the former very much so. He definitely looks like a contender this year, with Penske looking rapid and McLaughlin perhaps the pick of the Penske drivers. Even if he was pipped to the line today, he could be placing a serious marker down for the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, I was really, really worrying last race that it could be a one-off, you know. But it's great to see him up there again. And I was worrying that we'd have him win 2 races in a row, you know. So yeah, fantastic from McLaughlin. Definitely a title contender. We've all overlooked him. Like we've ridiculously overlooked him. Like he's going to be very, very important come the end of the season. You know, Palou nowhere today really. I can't like Herta and Award as well. That's our next point. Herta and Award, they've been underperforming massively, and I know they both had their problems today, but we haven't seen them really near the top yet, have we? And they're probably the favourites for the season going into St. Pete. So, yeah, no, McLaughlin out of nowhere, and Herta and Award struggling. So, yeah.
From championship contenders, it looks like it's, well, we're 2 races into a 17-race season, so let's not count them out just yet. But if we're going kind of off the start of the season, the ones that have looked most impressive, McLaughlin, Newgarden, and I guess Palou to an extent, but even he was pretty much out of it as well. So, you know, it could be a really interesting season. It's almost playing catch-up. The top 5 in the championship at the moment, I think, is McLaughlin, Power, Newgarden, Ericsson, and Palou. Is that going to be our 5 this year? No Herta and no Award? I mean, it's really early to say, but again, big guns underachieving. Scott Dixon, not really anywhere 2 races now into the season, which is very much unlike him. So, yeah, we've got a season on our hands. Very much so.
Yeah, so speaking of which, do you got any predictions for Long Beach?
Right, so we're doing pole position and top 3 again. Oh, you'd be a brave man to get it bet against Scotty McLaughlin, wouldn't you? I'm going to say McLaughlin on pole. And then for the race, I think it will be... 3rd place will be McLaughlin. 2nd place, Ericsson. And 1st place, I think Colton Herta will get his season underway in Long Beach.
Fair enough. I was going to say Herta on pole, Herta for the win, McLaughlin in 2nd, and Palou in 3rd. They're my predictions.
Very nice indeed. Well, it's such a long gap. I can't wait 3 weeks.
No, I know. It's 10th of April.
INDYCAR, fill out the schedule. Come on. Do your work. And also because it finishes in September as well, then we've got another ages off.
Yeah.
Until the season will start again in 2023. But let's not think about that. 15 races to go.
Yeah, we've got 15.
We've got a championship on our hands.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for tuning in for the 2nd episode of the Post Race Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this format. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you would like to watch some more of my videos. And I will see you all in the next video. So until then, take care and thank you very much for watching. And thank you, James, for coming along.
Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you after the next race.
All right. See you after the next race.